The term 3D design is used when we refer to a work of art that has 3 dimensions. When you create art using 3D design processes, your final product will show height, width, and depth. You might even hear somebody refer to 3D art as a sculpture in the round because you can walk around it when you view it. You can see it from any direction. Let's take a look at what you need to know to create your bobblehead out of clay. The first thing you need to do is make a plan. As you are planning, develop 3 different ideas of something that you could turn into your bobblehead. You should have 1 living creature, 1 recognizable character, and 1 inanimate object to choose from. From these 3 choices, pick your favorite and begin planning what colors you want to use. Add color to your sketch to help you when you colorize your model magic. Once you have this plan in place, you're ready to begin adding color to your clay, and then you can build your sculpture and add texture as needed. Before you start building, let's navigate some different ways to add texture to your sculpture. You may want to include textures to your design to make it a little bit more interesting to look at. You can use everyday objects to create textures that you already have access to. In this portion of the video, you will see that I'm using toys that my kids had laying around the house. These items range from figurines to marker caps. All you have to do is push your objects into the clay to get some really great texture. So take some time and explore and see what textures you can come up with. Next, you'll need to use your thumbnail sketch as you reference how much model magic you need to colorize for each section of your bobblehead. Before you add any color, I would suggest breaking up your clay into separate sections for each individual color you plan to use. For example, if you're using brown for the body, you're going to need a lot more clay to colorize than if you're just using a little bit of blue for the eyeball. Add a little bit of color at a time by dabbing markers into the white and then mixing it together. You can always make it darker, but you will not be able to lighten it. You can also do this with small amounts of paint. Now that you have colorized your clay, you're ready to begin building. Your bobblehead needs 2 parts. You'll have the base and the bobbling element. So let's start building. I've divided my clay into sections where I saved about 20% for adding elements such as the arms and the feet. To build the base, you'll need to create a pinch pot where you push your thumb into the ball of clay, and then you turn and pinch, turn and pinch. You'll see that I form the base over my thumb and place a little bit of paper into the hollow area to support the form while it sits and dries. The next thing you need to do is make sure that you create a long skinny neck that comes to a point at the top. It looks very similar to an ice cream cone shape. The bobbling head is going to be an upside down pinch pot that balances on this long skinny neck. The next thing that you will see is adding the different elements that I had planned out in the preliminary sketches. You'll also see that I start adding textures to any of the additional elements that I wanted texture to be on. Do not attach any elements until you're confident that you have it right, because model magic sticks to itself very easily. Unlike earthenware, it does not need you to scratch and attach the individual surfaces before you connect them. This is especially important if your model magic is different colors, because it will be very difficult to separate when you make a mistake. Now that your base is complete, it's time to begin building the bobbling element. Start with a pinch pot where you push your thumb into the ball of clay and then turn and pinch, turn and pinch. You'll want to test the size of your bobble in relationship to the base before you begin adding your details. Remember, each bobblehead that we create is going to have a different plan, so it's okay if you don't follow the steps that you see in the video exactly. If your final sculpture moves away from your original plan a bit, that's okay too. One of the best things about art is that your original plan might not work out, but you can always problem solve to figure it out. Let's continue watching the process of adding the final details. You will see when I add the tail to the body at the end, I've mixed two of the colors together to achieve a marbled look. What special elements will you be adding to your bobblehead sculpture? Make sure when you have completed the base and the bobble that you allow your pieces to dry separately so they don't get stuck together.